Tehran's IRGC Navy warns that any new US strike will be met with unexpected surprise tactics at sea. Iran's naval command says its latest smart targeting systems are primed for the next clash with Trump's forces. Even under a fragile ceasefire, the IRGC vows it has secret cards ready to hit back at the US fleet. An IRGC Navy official warns that a single fresh US strike will trigger surprise operations against American assets. Amid a fragile ceasefire with the United States, Iran is sending a new warning shot, signaling that it is fully prepared to respond if Washington restarts military action. A senior officer from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy declared that his force stands ready to confront any fresh escalation, vowing to use what he called surprise tactics against US assets at sea. Mohammad Akbarzadeh, the IRGC Navy's deputy for political affairs, delivered the remarks on April 28 in the southern port city of Minab, making clear that Tehran wants its deterrent message heard well beyond the Gulf. Mohammad Akbarzadeh said, and I quote, "In the event of any fresh military action by the United States against Iran, the IRGC Navy will deploy its new capabilities. Navy would employ its new cards, including in the field of smart targeting, and will set the massive vessels of the criminal regime ablaze with its fury and take them out of operation. The Islamic Republic would also utilize its other instruments of power across other resistance fronts." Unquote. Akbarzadeh's warning did not come in a vacuum. It was issued against a backdrop of simmering tensions involving both the United States and Israel, with recent clashes still fresh in memory. He declared that if the US were to make any new military move, the IRGC Navy would respond by deploying its latest capabilities, hinting at upgraded weapons, sensors, and targeting systems. According to Akbarzadeh, such operations could inflict severe damage on what he referred to as enemy assets, potentially disabling major vessels or key infrastructure in any new confrontation. His warning followed a series of confrontations in which Iranian forces had already carried out retaliatory strikes, reinforcing Tehran's message that further action by Washington or its allies will not go unanswered. Iran's recent operations reportedly targeted sensitive American and Israeli positions across several parts of West Asia, underscoring that Tehran can still project force well beyond its borders. The intensity of these exchanges eventually pushed Washington to announce a temporary pause in its military actions, a move seen as an attempt to prevent further escalation. That pause was later extended, signaling a brief reduction in direct hostilities between the two sides, even as tensions and rhetoric remained high. Despite the ongoing conflict, US officials have publicly acknowledged that Iran continues to retain substantial military capabilities. Recent reports suggest that a significant portion of Iran's ballistic missile arsenal remains intact, preserving Tehran's ability to strike regional targets. Officials have also noted that the IRGC Navy's fleet is still operational and ready for rapid deployment, keeping pressure on US and allied forces across key waterways. In a clear show of strength, Iran is using the current lull in fighting to broadcast the scale of its military machine as tensions with the United States continue to climb. The Defense Ministry has announced that Iran is now producing more than 1,000 different types of weapons domestically, underscoring how far its homegrown industry has come under sanctions. Ministry spokesman Reza Tlaibek delivered the message under fragile ceasefire, framing it as proof that Iran has not lost its edge despite weeks of conflict. He insisted that during the recent hostilities, Iran managed to maintain what he called operational superiority in the skies, combining air defenses and strike capabilities. Reza also declared that all major categories of military equipment are now being manufactured entirely inside the country, from missiles and drones to armor and air defense systems. According to him, this level of self-reliance is the result of more than 2 decades of continuous investment in Iran's defense sector. Officials further disclosed that a significant portion of Iran's missile arsenal has still not been deployed, implying that Tehran retains considerable firepower in reserve. State media added that Iranian forces were able to launch counterstrikes while keeping strong air defense coverage in place throughout the clashes. They also stressed that weapons production is deliberately spread across multiple locations nationwide, to ensure factories can keep running even if some facilities come under attack. This decentralized defense network, they said, allows Iran to maintain supply chains, preserve operational readiness, and continue military production across its vast territory. Reports also suggest that more than 9,000 firms are currently working with the military to support weapons development, logistics, and industrial coordination. Iranian authorities described this broad industrial ecosystem as central to the country's ability to sustain a prolonged war if tensions were to escalate further. At the same time, Iran has also leveraged its control over the Strait of Hormuz as a major strategic pressure point against its adversaries. Authorities claimed that the possibility of closing the critical waterway has become an important strategic tool in response to US actions in the region. Officials further stated that Iran has repeatedly forced rival units to withdraw through tight maritime monitoring and strong naval positioning around key routes. Analysts warn that these repeated signals of military strength and strategic leverage could further escalate the already dangerous US-Iran confrontation. This comes as Trump's war chief Pete Hegseth recently claimed that American forces in the Middle East are locked and loaded, adding another layer of tension to an already volatile regional crisis.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.